Welcome to the Work in Real Life podcast. I'm Marcus Verrell.
And I'm Jenny Winspear.
This week, we're talking about everything to do with Generation Z. We are joined in the studio by Emma Wildbore-hands. Welcome to the
Hi.
studio. Do you want to start off by giving us a little bit of information about your background? Tell us who you are, what you're all about. That would be great.
So I am the founder of Vida, which is a Gen Z marketing agency. And we help brands and companies speak to our generation in a way that we understand. And that's normally through TikTok or content, any kind of content, but that's what we do.
Predominantly through TikTok.
Yeah.
So would you say that you're representing Gen Z today, by the way, on the couch?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. I guess
You're
I am.
a pretty average Gen Zer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 25, so I'm kind of, to be honest, I'm like an older Gen Z. So Gen Z are about 12 years old to 27, I think, is the cutoff now. So I'm right at the end, but I'm still Gen Z. So
Awesome.
yes.
So what do you think, if we're going to dive straight in?
Yeah, let's do
There's quite a lot of juicy stuff that we could talk about. But so why do you think there is, or do you think there is such a big divide between sort of Gen Z and older generations?
I wouldn't say there's a divide. I think that this divide, for me, has been put there by the media. I think that people read into that and they like it. It's clickbait. But I think for me, what I've noticed is that Gen Z consume differently to other generations. So we won't consume the same as a millennial or a boomer or any, older generations, basically. That's where the divide is. So it's not the fact that we're completely different to everybody. It's just the fact that it's a different style of marketing and we just live differently. Our values are different. And yeah, I would say that's the difference.
Just that, we said this earlier, didn't we? That I feel like Gen Z is spoken about rather than spoken to or
exactly.
spoken with.
Yeah, that's why I've literally made this business, is so that people actually work with us. They're working with a whole generation because everyone at Vida is Gen Z. So if you work with us, it's a whole age group. Your whole target demographic is in one place, so that you're not guessing what we want to hear and what we want to see. We're telling you, we're doing it for you. We know what we consume, so that's why I made it.
Yeah,
Make it easier.
I think it's such an important. Thing for companies to grasp quickly is the social media age, the user-generated content, what it means to brand yourself as a company for people who are consuming media in this way as well, because it does get overlooked, and especially where we live, there's a lot of kind of traditional ways of media, and I feel like you've come in and sort of blazed the way with, the right, more modern approach to marketing and sort of creating brands for traditionally corporate companies. So do you find that, how hard is it to convey an authentic brand for a business, and how do you do that through marketing?
So I think it's so important to be authentic, because without authenticity you literally have nothing, in my opinion, and I don't think that a brand will take off, or it just won't fly with Gen Z if you're not authentic. So for me, I would look at your values. What are the brand values? What do you stand for? Gen Z will read between the lines, basically. So there's so much content out there, and we need something that's going to cut through the shit, basically, and just say what you need to say. If you say you're ethical, you're diverse, show us that. You need to basically prove what you're saying is true. There's a lot of, specifically in Jersey, finance companies that say they're all these things, but you never actually see anything. You're just kind of hoping that they do these things, like a gender pay gap. Okay, evidence it. Whereas, how do you do that? I don't want to work for a company that says they do something and really they don't do it at all.
Yeah,
That's
there's no
the thing.
evidence.
So I would just say, especially through content, you have to prove what you're saying is true. Yeah. But do it in a good way.
And how hard do you find it? Obviously, myself with a marketing background as well, I find one of the most difficult things working for an agency is basically convincing people in-house that what I'm saying is what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that's even more difficult for you, because you're there like, oh no, you can just film this on your iPhone and we're going to do I don't know, we're going to just do some content talking about what coffee everyone's drinking today or something, for example.
Yeah.
Not saying that's the
no.
only thing you do, but that kind of content, or talking about those kind of things and presenting the company's values in a certain way that will resonate with younger audiences. Like, how have you found... So you're speaking to like an older CEO or something like that, or head of marketing, and they know they need to attract some younger talent or engage with younger audiences. How have you broached that conversation to convince them that your way is the way it should be done?
The right way. Yeah. Okay, I'll be completely honest. It has been quite difficult, especially in Jersey, because it's so new here. No one has really done it in the way that we're doing it. And there's some other great agencies, like your agency you work for, but we're completely like this Gen Z concept and no one gets it. So the first year of business would sit with people and explain like we are different, we're consuming content differently, and that slow-mo video that you've put out and you've done a really boring voiceover for, it just doesn't work. Like
recruiter video, so you're trying to attract talent, and it's a slow-mo video of everyone in the team like typing away this, like just slowly smiling at each other. Yeah. And it's just the way that everyone does it, and there is a time and a place for that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
But there are a multitude of better ways to get the same message across in a more kind of younger person.
And also like, that's the thing, when you start actually posting different content, the proof is in the analytics. And the second you actually put your employees in front of a camera, and they almost it's called EGC, like employee generated content, that always performs better than anything else. So like, what is it deep down? Like, who is that trainee you've just brought in that's a school leaver? Why should I do what they've done and gone and done your trainee program? That kind of thing. That's what sells. And to me, that's the exact kind of content that companies should be doing now. And if they're not, they're just falling behind. So that's what we do. But yeah.
I have to say that as a millennial, a firm millennial, firmly in that camp, I think that kind of content resonates better with me as well. Is that kind of, okay, this is a window into what it's like to work for this business. And I think you've touched on values before. I think the values is such a key part of the business, and often they're just words on the wall, right? So typically you'll see like honesty, professionalism, integrity.
Live, laugh.
Yeah, literally. It is like a live, laugh, laugh. That's the live, laugh, laugh of the corporate world. But if they are the values, how are people living it? Like, and I've done some work with values recently. It is hard. It's not hard to put words and sentences around actually how they live and breathe as a business, but it's getting down to the nuts and bolts of what are the employees saying about it, and how can we translate this to the rest of the world who don't work here. So I think it's a really cool thing that you're doing. On the values piece as well, I find, or trends that we're seeing, I guess, is that Gen Z typically are interested in like socially conscious, you know, you mentioned the gender pay gap before, stuff like diversity and inclusion. What do you do to kind of portray that, other than employee generated content? Is there any other ways to show that businesses are doing that?
I think to me, it's always like looking at it from a marketing point of view, the content is the first thing we see. So like, that's the first thing I would buy into. And I think that there's a lot of, I mean, again, looking at finance companies, because that seems to be what we all talk about all the time in Jersey, there are a lot of companies that are proving that. Like, there are some ethically conscious companies out there, and they are posting about what they are actually doing. It's not about what the employees say, it's about the kind of things they're investing in, or, you know, what they actually physically do. What is their action? What do they do with that value? And that's what they post about. And that's really good, because, you know, it doesn't have to come from employees. It's like, you can't argue with fact. And like, if they're actually planting extra trees in these places, like, that's great. I can see that. Like, I can see that they care, because they're literally doing it. So that's, again, I think that's something that maybe more companies should be doing, and they should be, you know, if they're talking about like women's rights and things like that, what are you adding to the conversation? What are you actually bringing to that?
Rather than just changing the colour of your logo on Pride Day,
oh my
example,
God, yes. Or like International Women's Day. Like, Purple logo. Okay.
Brilliant. What's it achieving? Yeah, I think this is where people can fundamentally misunderstand what marketing is, because you'll get approached and you'll be like, right, we need to communicate this, this, and this, and I'm like, happy to facilitate you communicating that, but you need to actually be doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
First, because that's your brand.
Yeah,
right?
It's not a tick box. It's not something that you just do for one day. It's something that me as a Gen Z, and even you guys as millennials, we will look into that. Like it's a fact-finding mission. If you're about to start a new job and this company says they do X, Y, and Z, I will look into that. Like it's as much as you're looking into me,
Well,
I
so
will
Jenny,
do that
you'll
to
be
you.
on Glassdoor as well, won't
Yeah,
you? Looking at behind the scenes. Yeah.
This is
Why
like,
not? It's your life.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You have to do that.
Well, and it's funny there that you said it's your life, because we were looking into, when I was doing a bit of research about Gen Zs, because I am unfortunately not Gen Z either, but it was saying that like one of the key things that Gen Z people actually care about now when it comes to kind of, I guess, considerations in life, but predominantly career, is that it is an extension of themselves much more than previous generations. So rather than a job, it's like an extension of your life, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it definitely is. I think as well, like after COVID, the whole narrative changed, and I think being able to work remotely, hybrid, whatever, flexible working, it's kind of proved to me that I don't have to live to work, I work to live. And that's the balance that we should have. And we should, traditionally we're told that we have to do these things, but that's not how we were built. We're not built to work for a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So make that work for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's...
I was just going to say, do you, and I think this will resonate with you,
Yeah.
but do you think the goalposts of success have changed? So I think we're all in agreement that like a work-life balance, like you've alluded to before and you've alluded to there, is probably what success looks like to us more than being there for 50, 60 hours a week on our grind to take home a paycheck.
I just think, what are you trying to prove? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I think, I can't really talk now because as a business owner, that kind of goes out the window. Like it's not a 9 to 5 anymore. It feels like 24/7. But I know that the way that I can live by being my own boss is different, and that I have that control over what I want to do. And I think that a lot of Gen Z and probably millennials too feel the same way. And you can speak to, well, if you have a good employer, you should be able to have that conversation with them and make that work for your life, and make it, the more they invest in you, the more they're going to get out of you in return. So yeah.
Do you think we're seeing a shift of people wanting to work for themselves and be solopreneurs and entrepreneurs because of the reason that they want harmony between their life and their work?
I think so. I think there's that, but I also think that there's more careers that you can have now than ever before. I think that we are way more exposed to like educational platforms. I think especially TikTok. Like, I love TikTok. I will talk about it every single day for the rest of my life. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
But the things that have come out of TikTok, you could be all sorts of things now. And you can learn about those things on TikTok or on social media. And if it's not that, then it's a course platform that you can upskill and teach yourself something new. And I think that's where people have now learned those skills and learned how to monetize them. So they're able to have this side business that they know if they invest more time into it, that will be what they do eventually. And that will let them travel and go and work remotely and get a digital nomad visa in a different country. So I think that's why Gen Z are more entrepreneurial, because we know that we can take back our life. I think that's as simple as it is. But I do think that COVID made us have that shift. Like this economy, like what I think they call it the gig economy, that it's just growing all the time. But the creator economy is also growing. So there's so many more like creators out there now, and micro influencers and people like that who are genuinely making a career out of it, just talking about something they love all the time. And that's, I think that if you can make money out of doing that and it's something you love, why
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Do you come across any barriers then, sort of switching tack here, do you come across any barriers to winning work because you are young?
I would say that we do. I think particularly here in Jersey. I think the first so we've just turned 1, by the way.
Congrats, happy birthday.
So Vida just turned 1, I think it was February. And basically in that first year, because it was this like, oh, Gen Z, or what do they want now? Kind of, it felt like that. TikTok, that's just like a load of rubbish. Why do we need
dances and stuff?
Exactly. Why do we need a presence on TikTok? For like the first year, maybe the first like 6 months in particular, there were times where I literally was told like, we don't need that. Can you do one company, I'm not going to name and shame, but one company actually asked me to make 10 TikTok videos for free, based on things that they had done, and wanted us to do that to win the work. And if I was maybe older, or whatever, maybe we would have had that client. But I said no straight away, because I knew like I can't set that precedent going forward, and that's not how I want to run my business. And that's not how we run business, because why should it be? Just because we're younger, it doesn't
mean the value's any less.
Yeah. And we know what we're doing, it works, it's worked in the past. I've got lots of case studies of why it works, and TikTok is a massive platform for a reason. They have like, I think is it 2 billion users now? I don't know. It's like, it's crazy the amount of people that are on TikTok. It's a search engine. It's all these big things, and businesses still don't use it because they don't understand it yet, because they don't have Gen Z in that C-suite level. Yeah. They just don't do it. And they don't care about what they have to say until they see someone else achieving with the platform. And so that was a huge barrier. I could talk about barriers all day, because I think there are a lot in Jersey. I think that we're actually, that it's a blessing and a curse being here. But doing business in Jersey is difficult. With like financial red tape, it's hard. You can't, if you want to do e-commerce, you can't get a payment provider here. We can't become a TikTok provider over here, because a partner, whatever they call it, because we aren't in the UK. So there's a lot of barriers to entry into that world. Yeah. I mean, we're breaking them down now, thankfully. So I was actually at TikTok last week and brought this up, and I'm kind of working with them. Yeah, so you went to
TikTok HQ.
Yeah, it was so cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I went there and I spoke to them about that, and so it's on their radar, and I'm working quite closely with them at the minute to hopefully become a TikTok partner, and we'll be the first in Jersey.
Yeah, nice. Well, I hope you managed to do it, because that'd be great. Over here, so I mean, you've alluded to it a little bit there when you're talking about like what you think businesses should stop doing, or like certain bits of red tape and things like that. What are, if you could sit all the business owners down in Jersey and further afield, let's make it sort of the world, right? So all the big wigs that perhaps aren't like, on the tools with TikTok or social media or marketing in general, because I think a lot of companies are falling short, really. What 3 things would you say the businesses need to stop doing? And I guess this can be marketing, this can be with their hiring, with how they're treating people.
Wow, okay.
In respect of Gen Z?
In respect of Gen Z.
Okay.
Well, and further afield if you
that
feel
is
like...
a really
big question.
That's a big
we
question.
like to ask the big questions in the podcast.
Okay.
It's a very long question.
To narrow it down in 3.
3 things businesses need to stop doing.
Okay, I'm going to answer it as a Gen Zer.
Yeah.
Firstly, Facebook. Don't waste your time.
Love it, yeah.
Love that. Okay. I'm taking notes. Stop Facebook ads.
No, but also Facebook's a weird one in Jersey, because everyone still checks it for like the news.
Yeah, it's better. It's better than the news, but that's a really good case in point there. That like the Jersey news media need to understand Facebook more.
I know, and also other platforms, because they're not on any others really.
The ditch Facebook is big enough for me. I love that already.
I mean, that is like mic drop.
Yeah, take the mic off, out the door of the podcast. No. I've said everything I need to say.
Threads can go.
Yeah, Threads can go. Yes,
I'm not a fan of Threads either. It had so much promise. I was keen. I was there on the first week. I was like, look at us all.
And it felt actually, but also I feel like they really missed something, because it really felt quite like a community, and it just flopped, and I don't really know why, but it just did. So yeah, those 2 I would say, and then maybe I'll come back to the third one.
Okay. I have a question, because it's about Gen Z in the workplace. And so according to a report by Yahoo.com,
Oh, I love this stat. Yeah, go.
Yeah, Gen Z are the most challenging generation to work with. Why do you
Yeah.
think that is?
I don't know. I think, I don't know. Based on what though? Like why? Why? I don't.
There's a lot of media targeting
There is.
Gen Z, which is something we talked about before.
Mm.
I'll recite the stereotypes.
Okay.
Not my opinion.
Okay.
I'm definitely clipping it so it looks like it's your opinion.
So the stereotypes are that they won't put the hard work in, don't work over their hours,
Right.
which is another topic we can
Yeah.
talk about. They feel like, I don't know, the stereotypes. You
Feel
help
like
me
the
out
world
here.
owes them something.
Yes,
Right.
that is the stereotype. Yeah.
But I think that's true of millennials as well.
But I think that's true of anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see
well,
that all the
So
time.
true.
yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to bust the
What
myth
other
here.
stereotypes are there for Gen Z? That all they want to do is social media,
Yep.
I guess, is one.
Well,
Okay.
why is that a bad thing, I guess?
Well,
you
I
could
guess
say?
no, but I think people think they're hard to work with because, I mean, the same is true for me. I think is that we don't like. I'm referring to we now. I'm putting myself
Yeah.
in the Gen Z bucket,
Yeah, yeah.
pretending I'm that. I'm only 30, and I was only 30 about a month ago. So, I'm,
Basically
but
all
I
of
think it's
us.
because we just don't put up with shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we want to feel as if we're being taken the piss out of.
Yeah.
When we know that the alternative is there and tangible. Like you can go online and see someone literally streaming, like playing Twitch or whatever, or
Yeah.
on Twitch streaming, sorry, playing Call of Duty or something. And they're there making money. And that's not to say everyone can do it, but like you've alluded to there with the micro influencers and things like that. Like we are very acutely aware of everything that's going on in the world,
Yeah.
probably more so than previous
Yeah.
generations,
Yeah.
or not necessarily more so. We have more sources of information maybe than
Exactly.
previous informations and alternative viewpoints,
Yeah.
which has made us sit back and go, hang on, I don't need to be spoken to like that. I
Yeah.
don't need to deal with that because I can.
Yeah, but also I think we were raised by a generation that were taught to work really hard to a point maybe that, and I'm not saying, I think this is like very general because I've seen the counter arguments to what you're talking about as well, that we were raised by that generation of like their parents were post-war babies and like they were taught to work really, really, really hard. So then when we're growing up, it's kind of like maybe taking a bit of a softer approach, I don't know. But also like we're then watching our parents working hours and hours that really they don't need to do. And you don't have to burn yourself out. We're watching that happen all the time. And I know that a lot of people just don't want that. Like, I don't see why people should have to live like that. And I just, I think, I'm, again, going back to COVID, I think it's just that time really changed a lot for everybody and we just kind of realised what's important at a time when people were like on furlough or whatever they call it here, I can't remember, sitting at home and things just changed so much. Like, there's more to life. I do, but I think, so going back to the original point about Gen Z being difficult to work with, I don't think we're difficult to work with. I think that we have self-worth, self-awareness and boundaries. And I think that older generations think that if you're at work, you're at work to work and to do this, and you owe the company something and you're getting paid, so you have to do whatever you're told. But actually, it's not so much about that anymore. Like, companies need to have an interest in the people that are there because we will be loyal in return. And I think that's something else that people think about Gen Z is that we're really disloyal, unloyal, and that we will just job hop. And people do that because we're not trusted.
I think that's a good thing. I think
Yeah.
that's
They're not
exactly
finding a place that treats them like an individual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is why people do that. And I think that's fair enough. If you're not being paid the right amount at one place and you are at another place,
Go.
yeah.
Because you're statistically more likely to get more money leaving a job after 2 years
Yeah,
than
exactly.
staying somewhere for more than 2 years
Yeah.
and requesting a pay
Yeah.
rise, which to me is crazy. Because, and I also think as well, just going back to why I think Gen Z can appear to be hard to work with, I think it's because older generations associate work with not being fun.
Yeah.
And Gen Zs that have taken the time to job hop and then end up in a job that they like
Yeah.
enjoy it way more than
Yeah.
someone who hasn't taken that time and is maybe 10, 15 years into their career, and they're sitting there thinking, why did I choose this as my career? Whereas Gen Z walks in, it's like, oh, I've always wanted this job, I've now got it, I love it, and I'm actually enjoying being here at work, you know?
Yeah.
So for this last part of the podcast, we're going to talk about some generational cringes in the workplace. So these are things that Gen Z, millennial, boomers, they do that cringe another generation out. We're going to be a bit stereotypical, but I'm going to throw some things in the ring here. My first one is that Gen Z can take casual Fridays to a new extreme. So what I mean by this is like exposing the midriff or wearing Ugg boots. And I have been guilty of wearing Ugg boots, but like the thought of getting skin out in front of colleagues terrifies me.
But how much? Like, I wouldn't...
How much skin is too much skin? Do you know what I mean?
Any midriff.
So just tummy area, not okay.
Nah, wear a t-shirt.
To be fair, if a bloke turned up in there's got to be a better phrase than wife beater vest, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's not...
But controversially, a lot of women wear blouses without sleeves, right, in the office, but bloke can't wear a vest, so...
That is really interesting. I've never thought of that.
True, isn't it?
But now you know how women feel on the beach.
Yeah.
Not that I
you have to
would
wear
ever...
a bikini. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no,
not that I would want to not wear a bikini.
That's definitely staying in. That's cool. Any others from you?
Oh my god!
So, I'm pro Ugg boot and pro skin. Fine.
See,
not in
and
like
I kind of feel like I let my team wear. Like I've never ever told them what to wear. Firstly, ever, and even if we're going into offices, I don't really care because I think we just embrace each other for who we are. Yeah. But if someone turned up in like a really like skimpy top, I think I would have to say something.
Yeah, because I feel like, especially when you're going into corporate, it is like this is cringe in itself, but the dress for your day, like as not cringy as that is, it's like if you're going into a corporate setting where they're all going to be in suits, you probably don't want to go in your Ugg boots.
Yeah, but I would probably
I see it though.
Yeah, and I think the trouble is
you're both creatives.
Well,
I forgot.
I agree that you should like obviously know where you're going with what you're wearing. Like, don't wear like, I don't know, like a Nirvana t-shirt if you're going to like some. But at the same time, if they told me not to, then I definitely would. Because it would I'd be like, you have absolutely no right to tell me what to wear. Like if my boss was like, we've got a smart meeting, they're a law firm or whatever. Yeah. I know what's expected, so I would dress
I don't know, I don't care what people wear. Just get the job done.
Yeah,
like, and do it.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Love that.
But then I'm also like, if I was pitching to somebody, I'd dress up. And I like dressing up, like for work and stuff. Yeah. But then, like, I do like working at home and just wearing joggers.
Yeah, I like doing that too. Okay. All right, so I've got a boomer one. The resistance to technology.
What, when they can't do it, and then it's like all those things, videos on TikTok
that
you see when it's like,
me out when they're like, oh no,
you know,
I'm not very good with technology.
Yeah.
You do it, and
but
you're like, just learn.
There's levels,
it's important.
Isn't there?
I know, poor IT team.
I know.
Well, you know because there is all those videos on TikTok when there's TikTok. It's not a channel that's available for us, TikTok, but there's all the videos when they're like, someone on 3 times my salary struggling to open a PDF document or something. And I'm like,
me out so
it
much.
does annoy me.
But
I'm
like,
come on.
you can't even use age as a reason because it's been, that sort of tech has been around
They've had
longer
to learn how to use it.
Yeah. Google is older than me. How do you not know how to use Google?
That makes me feel
But then
old.
there is certain points, and I think the reason that happens is because you kind of get to the point where you're like, you've been using stuff for a while, and you're kind of like, well, it's going to take me ages to work this out, whereas younger person over there or whoever over there could be an older person, but they know how to do it, so I'm going to go and ask them rather than Google it. Because in your head you're like, well, that's more efficient than me Googling it, right? Even though we should all really just go.
Time.
Yeah, well, exactly. Oh God, am I the problem? I think I might be the problem.
Okay, I also have a millennial one, which I am a millennial. So using buzzwords, so trying to be DWTK.
What does that mean?
Down with the kids.
Oh no. I'm guilty of this because I said...
I knew that was a joke. That was a joke.
It wasn't a joke.
I was waiting for you.
You've definitely...
I was waiting for your reaction and that was perfect.
There's a clip right there, just all cooked all of our faces. Just what is that?
Oh man,
what other ones have you got? I reckon you've got a few. Because what did you say the other BTS?
BTS is behind the scenes.
Yeah,
that
but
is
you were
down
big
with
on
the
that,
kids.
and I
I say BTS.
Perfect. See,
We use that.
maybe again
down with the
I am the
kids.
problem. Maybe then because
Maybe
what,
you are.
how do you feel about stuff like Riz? Because
Yeah,
that's
see, this is it. When millennials try and use like Gen Z words.
To be too cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, Riz, and they don't
Yeah,
use it in the right way.
serious
Riz.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, I actually wrote down here one of my kind of like icks or cringes is when like older people use slang in the wrong
Yeah.
way. Like it's
Yeah.
fine if that is actually that person.
Like
Do you know what I mean?
DWTK.
Yeah, like DWTK.
That was meant for comedic value.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah. But no, it's like when I've been told off before because
Yeah.
there's some younger creatives that I work with, and I found out what Riz meant, and then I was just dropping it in whenever, like
I
in
think
a,
you
in
said
a,
it in our meeting. We
But
started
in-
using
in-
it.
How?
Yeah.
How did that come up?
I have no idea. You know, it's just I think I was alluding to myself and was like, I've got serious Riz, so it's fine, or said something along
Yeah.
those lines, and everyone just looked at me like, you can't be saying that. So maybe I'm now getting old to yeah.
Yeah, but I find it hard to sometimes like keeping up, especially like trends on TikTok that come out, and I'm like, I actually have to look at that up, and I feel like I have to know everything because of what I do.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I have to be like this Gen Z like dictionary of like knowing what everything
all
means,
the
and I
slang.
don't like. My sister's younger than me, and I ask her what things like I didn't know what Riz was for a while. I still don't think I get it. I don't understand
So all of us
it.
have googled Riz. Is that what's happened?
Still
here?
don't get
Yeah. It's short for charisma, right? That is what it's
Yeah,
short-
but
short
think
for.
is it in like more
I
of a
believe.
flirty way, like oh I've got like good chat sort of thing?
Oh, it's flirty. So I,
I think
didn't know that.
I don't know. Maybe I don't get it. Maybe I don't have Riz.
Right, we're gonna have to go. And yeah, maybe none of us have. got
Yeah, we
Riz.
definitely don't.
No, have you got any more of?
Yeah, I do, but you go.
Well, one of my things that just really icks me out is when people say, and I think this is a boomer and older thing, or maybe I think some millennials still do it.
Okay.
And I'm almost convinced that you still do
Why?
it.
Why?
If I'm wrong, I hope you're not offended. But dear sir, madam, at the emails,
I don't
or
do
like
that.
dear instead of hey, and they say dear.
I think for the first.
For some time, to be fair, I do use the word dear for a very first email where I've never met the person.
I like a cold email when
Yeah.
it's like
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear.
But then also it depends on the company. Like if I know it's a really like prestigious company and they're like I don't know, I'd say dear person's name. Or if it was more of like a Gen Z kind of like fun company, I'd be like, hey guys,
Wagwan.
what's up?
Yeah, it just really cringes me out. Like when it's dear sir, I'm
I
like,
do think
"Dear
emails
sir,
has
madam."
definitely got a thing because I feel like boomers, particularly, and yes, I am generalising, have like really formal email sign
Yeah.
off with like
Yes.
fax numbers. You're like, no one uses fax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't put F and then a number. Like no one is using
I wouldn't
that.
even know what that is.
Oh,
If I saw that, I'd be like, oh, that must be some sort of
I
banking
know.
thing or something.
Phone spelled incorrectly.
yeah. Oh, they've spelled
Fun.
phone number wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have you got like a fun email sign off that you like? You must have one, surely.
I don't. I
When you're chatting
actually
with your
don't.
team, like keep slaying or something. I don't know.
Nah.
That was a Gen Z
See,
one I
that's
saw
cringy
earlier.
to me.
Oh, completely.
slaying.
This is on
Like,
the video I saw
slay.
just before I came here. Just as,
Yeah. But yeah, do you know what makes me cringe is when older people, like I don't know, older millennials probably and boomers put like you and like
Oh, what?
abbreviate short words. And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah, I
just
hate
say
that.
YOU.
Yes.
Yeah, who
So
would
this
do
is
that?
like the old school. Do you do that? Oh man, the old school
No,
like
it depends.
MSN way
Or
of talking.
THX,
Yeah.
thanks. Like,
Yeah.
Oh
Say
yeah, when
thank
it's
you.
like you're losing one letter, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, like, come on.
I
like,
love that.
Yeah.
That's a
get
good
that, I
one.
get that.
no, I think in emails that's just, no.
Yeah, bogging. I think I've got another quite good one, which is, I mean, there's probably quite a good reason behind it. But when older people seem to be like the gatekeepers to the company card, do you know what I mean? So it's like they have the company card, and you're like, oh, I'm just off to get coffees for everyone. Can I have the company card? And then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll come with you. And you're like, what do you think I'm going to do with the card? Like,
No trust.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
What do you think's now about to happen with this
Yeah,
company
like,
card?
Buy a new car, like.
Yeah, well, it makes you want to go and do it, doesn't it? Next
Well,
time we'll give them the card and
Marcus is gone.
Go.
Tell you what cringes me out is when you go into like a boardroom or something for a presentation and there's printed versions of the actual document that you're about to read. I hate that. because I've got a real thing about not using paper. Like we don't need to use paper anymore. And like I do get some people prefer to write notes, but if you've got a board pack that's like 40 pages, which already is not good, don't print it out for everyone.
Yeah,
like don't put it on a table.
Do you not like a handout?
Oh my
I love
god,
a handout.
no!
Maybe you are the problem.
Yeah.
You are the reason for global.
Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't like a big document like you're saying. There,
Yeah.
but I love a thing.
Like a short. I agree. But I think it needs to be 1 page, bullet points of each thing, or take a notebook. Like just take your own notebook.
Yeah, so you
and
can
make
write
your
that,
own notes.
But I quite like if someone, for me, like an efficient meeting is if you sit down and they're running through the agenda, they distribute the agenda.
No, oh my god.
Love that.
But
what a waste.
40
What are you going
pages.
to do with that piece of paper with an agenda on in
pretend
future?
I'm reading through it when they're talking.
You've got it in your inbox.
Yeah, while you're asleep.
No, cut that out. You are the problem.
Yeah, we've established that for me.
I've heard that there's a cringe with millennials using GIFs. Is that the case?
Don't take gifts away
I don't
from me.
use GIFs really.
But would you, if I send you a GIF after this, like, well done, woohoo?
It depends what
Are you
GIF.
going to cringe?
I would cringe if it was something that you actually meant well done. Like if it said well done, I'd be like, thanks, Jenny. Like that's really nice. No, and I genuinely would be thankful because it's fun to be here. But if you were actually sending me something that said what you actually meant,
I mean it in all
but
seriousness.
if it was something like The Office, like a meme,
Yeah, okay.
maybe that's more acceptable.
Okay.
But an actual like meaningful thing, I'm just like,
Not just like a kitten with its arms on it.
No,
They're the
no,
cringe
that
ones.
is actually that does make me cringe.
Yeah,
like
I
especially in
thought so.
group chats.
Knew it.
In group chats.
Well, you don't
and
like a gif in a group chat?
Not really.
Wow.
Only if it's a meme. If it's
like,
like a meme. But if it's something like trying to be cute, like I don't know. I think that's cringy.
I think it has to be deployed well.
Yeah.
I think there should be like an SOP or guidelines on GIF
I agree.
GIF
usage
sending.
because they can be for comedic effect. So like so you say you've got a Slack channel or a shared group chat at work on a Friday and you just slide in a GIF of like someone pouring a pint on their head and it's 4:00. Great. Because it's like that's everyone.
Yeah,
thinking,
see,
that's
She's
everyone.
not
That's like a fun way.
Do you know when that would be funny? Is if no one was talking yet and you just sent it and it was like 5 to 5 and you sent that.
Yeah.
But if it was like mid conversation and you're just like right, beer time, like that's just not fun. I don't know, but it doesn't. I just let it slide. Like okay, that's what you do.
That's
Don't
just
think about that.
Maybe I need to stop
that much.
gifting because if we're calling it gifting, then I'm a heavy giffer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Cool. I think that is enough cringes for today. I'm feeling sufficiently cringed out with myself and with some of the things we talked about. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Emma. It's been a pleasure having you join the conversation. If people want to get in touch with you, how do they find you?
So you can contact us at welcomevida.com or welcome.vida on Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you for watching or listening. I've been Jenny Winspear.
And I've been Marcus Verrell. Catch you on the next one.